Hi friends, this is Krish the Urban Naxal. Friends, many hundreds of families are receiving legal notices, very threatening legal notices from Motilal Oswal Home Finance Limited. From a very small lawyer based in Thane. The notice, legal notice, is very suspiciously worded. It's quite strangely worded, but a lot of people, ordinary middle class, lower middle class people who work as maids and rickshawalas and this kind of people, or they have small government jobs, these kind of people are now feeling threatened because there is a legal notice threatening criminal action, criminal prosecution against them. For what? For supposedly taking a loan from Motilal Oswal and conspiring with Karrm Infrastructure, the builder, in order to defraud Motilal Oswal, the loan company. So, thousands of home buyers are being accused through this legal notice of having conspired with the builder to take a loan, to take a home loan. Just visualize this. Thousands of people, sometimes husband and wife, have conspired with 6-7 directors of Karrm Infrastructure in order to take loans ranging from say 5 lakh rupees to 10, 15 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees, this kind of money, this kind of amounts. And they have conspired to create documents and take the loans and disburse the loans to the builder in order to somehow gain. I can't see how home buyers have gained from this so-called conspiracy. And the poor victim is Motilal Oswal Home Finance Limited. Motilal Oswal is a big brand in the financial markets. Anybody who is in stock markets knows about Motilal Oswal, and they are evidently the victims, the unknowing victims of ordinary middle class people who have conspired with these builders. People are scared. People who have received these notices are frightened. So let me start with my first strong message on this, which is, please do not be frightened. Please don't be scared. Don't let the builder scare you, make you afraid, because this is merely a tactic to get you to give them money, to panic you and take you to the office of the builder so that you will offer them some money and say, I'm giving you 1 lakh rupees, I'm giving you 2 lakh rupees, please don't prosecute me, let us settle the amount. This legal notice, I'm not calling it fraudulent, but this legal notice is without substance and its only intention there is to scare you. It is not a bona fide legal notice from Motilal Oswal Home Finance Limited. I want to add one more point here about the credentials of this notice. It comes from a relatively small advocate named Sunil Sule, who is based in Abhyudaya, in this Yasho Mandir building, 3rd floor, Abhyudaya Bank, Thane. Someone went today and inquired at his office, and he found that it's a very small place, and they said, no, don't come here. Very small place. I don't think a big brand like Motilal Oswal, if it wanted to prosecute hundreds or thousands of its supposed customers, would issue legal notices through a small advocate in Thane. That is not how things are done. Secondly, this legal notice by itself is also very suspiciously worded. I'm going to tell you about it. the notice has come through speed post, courier, etc. to the flat buyer. The name of the flat buyer is mentioned, and then for some reason they are saying through its director. Now, the legal notice, if it is supposed to be to Karrm Infrastructure Private Limited or any of its group companies, then that is what it has to be. It has to be directed to the Karrm Infrastructure and then through its directors. Instead, it is directed at the flat buyer, and then they are saying through its director, Mr. Namdev Subhash Jadhav, Mr. Ramakant Subhash Jadhav, Mr. Ramchandra Bajirao Kale, Mr. Ketan Babulal Patel, Mr. Satish Gangadarao Pilangwad. They are not addressing Karrm Infrastructure. They are supposedly addressing the flat buyer and then saying through its director. Something isn't right here. This is not at all correct. And then they are saying the guarantors of the loans were also Namdev Subhash Jadhav, Ramakant Subhash Jadhav, and so on and so forth. All the people who are involved with Karrm Infrastructure are named here. This is not a correct way of wording a legal notice. And anybody who is aware of how legal notices are worded will tell you that this is procedurally wrong. And being procedurally wrong in a legal notice, it doesn't make sense. Okay? So this legal notice right at the very beginning doesn't make sense. Now, they are saying in the subject line, intimation regarding commission of serious offences of cheating, mischief, criminal misappropriation of property committed by borrowers. Namely, the name of the flat buyer to whom it is sent. And then their reference is loan facility availed wide a loan account number so and so for an amount of 5 lakh rupees only. And then they are telling them in the course of all this that we disbursed this huge amount for 4,75,000 to you, and now we are recovering the outstanding of the whatever it is with interest, 8,64,000, blah blah blah. This is the kind of thing, and you are being asked to pay that because you are supposedly fraudulently taken it from Motilal Oswal. Was there a fraud? Quite possibly. Who's the victim here? First of all, the flat buyer is the victim. His signature for the most part has been taken without his knowledge. Most people who phoned me, many people phoned me yesterday and today, some of them have even been given home loans from two companies, from Motilal Oswal as well as from GIC Housing Finance. How is that even possible? Same home, two housing finance companies, both have disbursed. GIC Housing Finance did not check the CIBIL record. How did that happen? Both have disbursed loans supposedly. And now they are asking the flat buyer to pay. The flat buyer has himself been defrauded. They have also paid 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, that kind of money to these guys already back in 2015, 16, 17. They have not been enriched in any way. But now these guys are asking for the money, this amount which was supposedly disbursed. They are asking the flat buyer to give back this money. How did this happen? Regardless of how Motilal Oswal has been cheated, the fact of the matter is, fraudulently, forged or otherwise, there are some kind of contracts and agreements. If the contract has a genuine signature of the flat buyer, that needs to be proved. Because it appears prima facie that large number of these signatures were simply forged or procured under false pretenses from the flat buyer. The people from Karrm Infrastructure went to their houses, got them to sign papers again and again, said maybe they told them this is for project loan, etc., etc., and got them to sign on some papers. They seem to have done something, in some cases at least. People have given money thinking it is a project loan. I mean, people have signed thinking it is project loan, and the builder is taking project loan, and later on, now they are being served a notice after several years saying that no, this was a home loan and you are borrowers. You are the borrower. This is highly irregular. There was no paperwork in between from Motilal Oswal to these guys. So something very fishy has definitely happened here. Something very fishy definitely happened. The question is who was involved. Maybe it was employees of Motilal Oswal along with employees of Karrm Infrastructure. Maybe it was the directors of Karrm Infrastructure along with the directors of Aspire Finance. Aspire Finance was later taken over by Motilal Oswal. When Motilal Oswal took over Aspire, I don't know if they studied the accounts, whether they figured out what was going on, what had been done. How GIC Housing Finance is involved, I don't know. Couple of other housing finances also seem to have gotten involved, although to a much lesser extent. There is Shriram Housing Finance. I know one or two cases where Shriram Housing Finance seems to have given loan, and Tata Housing Finance seems to have given loan. But these are stray instances. The question is, how was it done? And the important point here is that flat buyers are not the criminals. They are the victims. The names of the flat buyers have been used in order to procure these loans fraudulently, without their consent. Complaints have already been made to Economic Offence Wing Thane, Police Economic Offence Wing Thane, EOW. Some complaints have already been made. More need to be made. Please make more complaints. I am going to form a WhatsApp group here. No, I'll make it a Telegram group so that many people can join in the Telegram group and coordinate in going to Thane office of Economic Offences Wing, and this has to be pursued at the highest level. This is a fraud that was done at the time it was done on 15th August 2015 with a lot of shor sharaba, with a lot of fanfare. It seemed like they were doing a patriotic effort, and the word karma was used, and Vivek Oberoi went around, and helicopters flew, and all that happened at Shahpur. There was a mela of house booking. Ordinary people, who some of them are housemaids and watchmen and people like that, thought they were buying flats of 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. This is the kind of money that they were told it is super cheap. And this is where they have landed up. They have been defrauded. Part of this scam seems to have been to get all these people on board, make them say that they are going to pay an EMI to Karrm directly. They were paying an EMI of 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 to Karrm Infrastructure. Their names were used to get loans from Aspire Finance, GIC Housing Finance, and other entities. They were duped. These people were duped. Maybe they gave signatures, maybe they didn't, maybe their signatures were forged. It seems to vary across different cases. Now they are being threatened, they are being told that they have participated in the commission of serious offences of, I am quoting from the legal notice, cheating, criminal trespass. How can it be criminal trespass? Mischief. You know what mischief is? So cutting somebody's electric lines, cutting somebody's water line, scratching somebody's vehicle, this kind of thing, damage to property. This is mischief. Where is the mischief? criminal misappropriation of property. Misappropriation of property. Whose property? What property? How misappropriation? And people are being accused. They are saying criminal misappropriation of property committed by you, the aforementioned borrowers. This is what they are being told. And it is stated, it says, this notice says, it is stated that you have dishonestly and fraudulently in active conspiracy and connivance with each other and the builder. So the two borrowers, husband and wife usually, in connivance with each other and the builder, namely Karrm Panchtatva phase 2, in this particular instance I am reading, Karrm Panchtatva phase 2 along with guarantors, personal and corporate, with a malified intent to defraud, cheat and cause wrongful loss to MOHFL, that is Motilal Oswal Home Finance Limited, have duped and deceived MOHFL to disburse huge sum of money amounting to 4,75,000. Thereafter, the borrowers along with the builders have dishonestly and fraudulently prevented MOHFL from recovering its outstanding amount. How did anybody prevent you? How? What was this way of preventing people? How did thousands of people, ordinary middle class people, prevent Motilal Oswal Finance? How? How could they prevent? What kind of a great conspiracy gang is there formed by these ordinary middle class people? Is it possible? So they say they prevented them from recovering their amount to the tune of, and then they are talking about the whatever accumulated interest, 8,64,400 and blah blah blah. What is all this? And they are saying, inasmuch as the builder has failed to construct the said property which stood as security towards the loan facility. Now this is what home loans are about. You are giving home loans against the security. The loan facility is given against the security of the house which is being constructed. It's a bad practice. It's a terrible practice. But you did it, evidently. Aspire Finance did it. And now Motilal Oswal Home Finance is taking it upon itself. It's saying we did it. Well, why did you do it then? And it is saying, it is therefore evident that borrowers along with the builder with dishonest intentions misappropriated the said disbursed loan amount with a malified intent to fulfill their illegal gains. Borrowers, illegal gains. What gains? They have lost money, man. What gains? Cause wrongful loss to MOHFL. It is frivolous. It is nonsense. And let me tell you this, for those of you who understand the difference between civil and criminal proceedings, the police, if they were to entertain this, they would be complete idiots. If they were to entertain a complaint against a borrower, against borrowers, for this, if at all there is a contract, and the contract, that is agreement, loan agreement, between the borrower and Motilal Oswal, well then for the contract you have to go to Debt Recovery Tribunal. You have to invoke the Surface Act and initiate civil proceedings under Surface Act. Go to Debt Recovery Tribunal. You can't allege all these criminal offences and scare people and try to take the money. This is what you are doing. It is unethical. It is wrong. On the other hand, it is highly likely that at least some people who were responsible at Aspire Finance, now owned by Motilal Oswal, highly likely that they participated, either director level people or employees at some fairly senior levels, participated in a scam and misappropriated funds. Initiate proceedings against them. They are the crooks. Go hunt them. Find out who they are. Hunt them down. Don't go after flat buyers. Meanwhile, the flat buyers have to go after Motilal Oswal, if only because Motilal Oswal seems to be bent on scaring the flat buyers and taking money from them after frightening them. So friends, as I said earlier, I am going to start a Telegram group, and I'm going to post a link in the description of this video. I'm starting a Telegram group only for the purpose of discussions. I'm very clear, I'm not going to collect money through this Telegram group. The intention of forming the Telegram group is not to collect money. It is to collect information and to disseminate information about what is happening with various groups of buyers of various projects, whether they are receiving notices, whether they are being called for settlements, etc., etc. There are people who received notices earlier in the month of February from GIC Housing Finance. They tried a slightly different scare tactic. I'm going to talk about that also. They called them for Lok Adalat. I'll talk about that. I'll read one of those notices in a separate video. Scare tactics are being employed against ordinary middle class people in order to frighten them and bring them to the negotiating table with Motilal Oswal and other loan companies. Please do not succumb to these scare tactics. Please do not feel afraid that they are going to prosecute you and attach your property and take away your money. Don't be afraid. Don't react in a panic. Don't run to them. Don't run here and there, paying money to lawyers to reply to this legal notice and losing money. You have already lost money. Please don't react. If necessary, we will help you in getting the lawyers at a very inexpensive rate, or do a bulk thing where each of you has to pay 300, 400 rupees, that kind of thing, small amounts. Also, you guys need to go to Economic Offences Wing Thane and you need to file a complaint there at EOW Thane. We will guide you through the Telegram group with exact addresses, with proformas, with all kinds of details that you will need for filing a complaint at Economic Offences Wing EOW of Thane Police. Join this Telegram group, circulate the Telegram group, help your others, your friends to also join the Telegram group. Husband, wife, everybody can join the Telegram group. Try not to turn it into a political activity. This is not a group for groupism against anybody else who is doing any work. If they have done some good work, that is wonderful, and we hope to be cooperating with people who are doing great work. For people like Prabhu Ram Giri, for example, we are not against anybody. I am Krish the Urban Naxal. Jai Maharashtra, Jai Hind, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan.